Welcome back to the Mad Spideyverse. I'm Mad Spidey. Thanks once again for tuning into my channel. Now that the weekend is over, obviously we had C3, which is Comics Curing Cancer fundraiser on the weekend. We actually hit our goal and totally smashed the goal. I think the end total was something like $22,500. We were going for 10. So we really smashed it. So thank you to every single one of you that donated. Obviously a massive shout out to the likes of, like, obviously Rob Fat Stacks of Comics, who was pretty much the be all and end all of this particular fundraiser. Obviously there is other big names to mention: DJ Links, Legion of Comics, Brian LCS, Remy Q Studios, and many more, plus all the people who donated. So thank you to everybody that donated. And obviously, like myself, I only had a little bit of money. I could only donate what I could, but I donated a lot of my time this weekend. So for all the people who donated money, for all the people who donated time, resources, just sharing it, thank you to everybody. So anyway, now that that's over, this particular video, get back into my normal sort of scheduled, or not scheduled, you know what I'm like. I do everything randomly. I just sort of, I'll do that video tonight and I'll do that video, in 2 nights time and everything like that. But yeah, so I got a general consensus for the first video of my comic wish list. I wasn't sure whether it would be something that people would want to watch. But in saying that, yeah, I got decent feedback on it. So I'll continue it until the numbers either totally drop or people say, no, this is boring, I'm not going to bother watching it, or don't bother continuing it or anything like that. But yeah, at the moment, the consensus was it was good. People enjoyed it, people like to watch it. So for the moment, I'll continue it. So once again, like the first episode, or the first part that I did, I picked 10 books from my comic wish list that I'll share with you, that what I actually want to get or try and get, and as I said in the first video, a lot of these are big books that I may never ever own. But once again, never say never, because you never know what'll happen. Market could totally crash. I could win lotto. That's not going to happen, but you know what I mean. So never say never. But yeah, so we'll get into this part 2 of this particular video series, and I've picked another 10 books to share with you to what I actually want. Now, as I said, I've picked some really big books, and I've chosen some more achievable sort of books, and I've tried to sort of mix it up. So the first book I'm going to share with you is Ultimate Fallout 4. Ultimate Fallout 4, first appearance of Miles Morales, is one of those books that has haunted me for the last couple of years. Obviously, now that I've got more back heavily into my comic collecting, obviously previously, I've done my statues and I've done my art and all that sort of stuff, and sort of crisscross between it. Books have always been there, but I've never really gone hard at them. So in the last couple of years, especially since the YouTube journey, I've gone really hard. And Ultimate Fallout 4 is one of those books that it is for me as what I classify as one of my modern grails. I don't have many modern grails, but this is one of my modern grails, or modern wants, that I can't justify, especially over here. I think the cheapest I've seen a first print over here is probably about $700 or $800. I can't justify spending that kind of money on that book. I can justify spending $700 or $800 on a silver or bronze age key that I might want, but I just can't justify it for a modern key. Obviously, Ultimate Fallout 4 came out between the sort of lulls of me and my different collecting sort of things that I was doing at the time. It came out and I sort of didn't really take much notice, or didn't know much about the character, and didn't really worry about it. But obviously the year's gone on, and the more I've got back into my comic collecting, now it's a comic that I want. And I would prefer to have a first print, but I think I'll just have to settle for a second print. But anyway, Ultimate Fallout 4, the ever elusive book for me, is definitely on the list. The second one in this particular list that I'm going to do is another Modern Grail, a little bit older, but another one that sort of slipped through the cracks of me not being able to get, or not right opportunity, right price, is New Mutants 98. Now, New Mutants 98 is obviously the first appearance of Deadpool. Obviously, with the movies coming out, the third one coming out, however many years it's going to take to come out, is another one of those Modern Grails that I can't justify spending the money that they're asking for. Now, obviously, I'm only wanting a raw copy. I don't mind if it's a little tattered or whatever like that. I just want the book itself. I only collect for myself. I don't collect for any resale value. I don't slab books. I only collect for myself. And for my personal enjoyment. So New Mutants 98 is just one of those books. That once again, if I saw one for $300 or $400 over here, and I had the money, I would snap it up straight away. But in saying that, if I was looking at $800 or $1,000, I think I'd rather just buy one or more Silver Age or Bronze Age keys. So anyway, that's book number 2. Book number 3 is Tomb of Dracula, number 1. Now, Tomb of Dracula, number 1 is the first appearance of Dracula. Just one of those sort of books. I've been getting into a little bit of a horror kick lately. Trying to pick up some Tomb of Dracula books, some Werewolf by Night books, some Man-Thing books, which I'd still classify as sort of horror. But yeah, Tomb of Dracula 1 is has been a book I've been wanting for quite a while. I have been able to pick up a lot of the run, because it's only a fairly small run from the Bronze Age. I think it's about 70 issues, something like that. But yeah, a lot of the bigger keys in that run I have not been able to pick up, and number 1 is definitely on the list. So, the next book I'm going to talk about is one of the real big books, and that is Fantastic Four number 1. Fantastic Four number 1, first appearance of the first family of Marvel. Obviously, Fantastic Four has really gained some steam in the last, especially during the COVID bubble too. Fantastic Four 1 has never been a cheap book, but they've got so many keys in their first, sub 100 books, that it's very hard to try and get them, especially over here in Australia as well. But yeah, Fantastic Four number 1 is going to be one of those ones that's going to be like, maybe I might completely fluke it, and that's why I say never, or I might win Lotto, which is, we know what the chances of that happening is. But yeah, one of those books that maybe one day I might stumble across one somehow. But yeah, so that's next on the list. Now, obviously, these aren't in any kind of order. I've just picked random books off my list. I'm going after this book first, this book second, so on and so forth, because obviously, as I said, some are ginormously expensive books for me, some are more achievable. The next one on the list is another one of those big books, probably not quite as high priced as Fantastic Four number 1, but still a very high priced book, and that's X-Men number 1, or Uncanny X-Men number 1, whichever way you want to put it. Obviously, the original Silver Age run of the X-Men was just called X-Men, which is the first appearance of the X-Men. Now you're looking at your core group that first came out, obviously before the Giant Size X-Men 1 and X-Men 94, when they got all these extra characters like Colossus and Kitty Pryde and Wolverine and things like that, the ones we more know today. But yeah, the X-Men book and X-Men number 1 book is, as I said, another big book that may or may not happen, but once again, never say never. The next book, I think, it's slightly more achievable, but it's a bit of a weird sort of book. It's not classified as... It's one of those books that it's a key issue purely for the cover. It is a Silver Age book, and it's one of my you know, one of my tertiary characters that I love, and that's Silver Surfer, and the issue is issue number 4. Silver Surfer number 4 is only a key issue from my knowledge just because of the cover. It's got that absolutely classic Thor versus Silver Surfer fight scene, or about to be fight scene cover, that has been homaged to the shittiest. But yeah, it's just one of those covers that it's like, okay, it's an expensive book only for the cover. Once again, it's still a Silver Age book. It's still classified as a key. But it's an absolutely iconic cover, and I absolutely love that cover. So yeah, Silver Surfer number 4 is definitely on that list as well. The next book in the list, I think it's one of those sort of middle of the road sort of books. I've seen it take some massive jumps, and I've sort of seen it almost more towards the sort of, I might be able to get it, and that's Iron Man 55. Now, Iron Man 55, most people will know it's the first appearance of Thanos. What a lot of other people don't really realise is all they see it as, oh, that's Thanos' first appearance. But it is also the first appearance of Drax the Destroyer. And there are quite a few other first appearances. First appearance of the Blood Brothers. First appearance of Eros, who later becomes Star Fox. And there's quite a few other first appearances in it. So it's one of those sort of funny books where you may be able to get it, you know, or you may not be able to get it. So, but anyway, Iron Man 55 is definitely on the list. The next book that I'm after is Werewolf by Night, number 1. Now, as I said, going on a bit of a horror kick in the moment. Just trying to get those sort of bigger keys, but also get some of those filler issues and smaller minor keys. But Werewolf by Night number 1 is the first. Now, obviously, this is from the Bronze Age, so it is a book that's his first solo title appearance. So for number 1, another iconic cover, and yeah, it's just one of those books, like Tomb of Dracula as well, number 1, I've always wanted to have. So yeah, one of those books, once again, sort of, obviously because of the hype behind the, you know, the movie that was done on Disney Plus, sort of jumped up a little bit in price, but I think it's still one of those books that it may be achievable. So yeah, that's definitely another one on the list. Now, the last one in the list is another book that I've definitely wanted for quite a long time. It's sort of a key issue, but it is Ghost Rider number 1. Now, Ghost Rider number 1, obviously it's the Johnny Blaze Ghost Rider number 1. Obviously he had his first appearance in Marvel Spotlight number 5, which was in the first part of this particular series video, in the first 10 books. But it is, I think it's classified as the first cameo of Son of Satan as well. It's on the first cameo or first full. I think it might be the first cameo appearance of Son of Satan, which is Damon Hellstrom. But yeah, just such an iconic cover once again, and that's one of those sort of books that I actually have seen it over here for about $500. I'd already spent my money, missed out on it altogether, and ever since then I've never seen one even remotely as close to that price. I think the cheapest one I've seen, which I don't see the book very often, was about $1,000, something like that. But just another one of those classic sort of books, and I've always loved Ghost Rider as well. It's just one that I really want to get. So that is it for this particular video. Hope you enjoyed this series. As I said, it's more of a, you know, an not instructional video, but more of a talking video than a sort of, you know, my usual show and tell videos. So please leave me a comment in the down below. Let me know whether I should continue, whether you're enjoying the series, whether it's just totally boring and you don't give a crap. But yeah, just let me know what you think. Anyway, I'll end this video with my usual. Thanks for tuning in. Please don't forget, hit the thumbs up, leave a comment, and best of all, don't forget to subscribe. And hope you enjoy the rest of your day, and Spidey out.